All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for today's session entitled Boost Your Success, Unleash Winning Strategies for Quarter Four. We decided to talk about this matter, especially for the late bloomers, those who didn't quite know that they needed to start planning um, for next year of their business, or those who maybe already started planning but just wanted to hop on and see if they have thought of everything that the attorneys are suggesting they think about for the success and health of their business. So today we're going to talk about a few things. One, we're going to share a little bit about the Curry Law Firm and who we are. Number two, we want to talk about how to assess your business and figure out what types of needs you're going to need for legal strategizing. I'm sorry. Number three, do you need any more business expenses? Number four, what are some of the legal issues that your business or you as an entrepreneur experienced this year? Number five, we want to talk about legal goals for next year. What does that look like? And how can we plan early in order to help with that? And then how can we be of service at the Curry Law Firm and how can we help you with what your goals are? So, a little bit about the Curry Law Firm. The Curry Law Firm was founded by MBA and JD degreed attorney Eleanor Curry. She is a 20-year real estate professional and has been an attorney for 10 years. Using her real estate and entrepreneurship background, she founded the Curry Law Firm to help business and real estate professionals. The firm has now expanded to handle estate planning matters such as wills, trust, and power of attorneys. A little bit about myself. My name is Attorney Marina McLaughlin. I'm an associate attorney here at the Curry Law Firm. And my goal is really to help business owners and entrepreneurs understand the legal protection that they need and help enforcing it. So rather that's business startups, rather that is enforcing protection such as through trademarks and copyrights, or even with pre-litigation matters, that's what I'm here for. And one of my favorite things to do is educate our clients and potential clients. Sometimes, we are so focused on what it is that we're good at, the actual business that we have. Maybe I'm excellent at screen printing t-shirts, or I am a real estate guru and can sell a house like no other. But I don't necessarily know a lot about the legal requirements or some of the things that I should be thinking about to protect myself and my business legally. And that's what we're here for. And that's what I want to educate you all on today. So the first thing that I really want to focus on is assessing the health of your business. I think that it's crucial to step back and kind of take inventory about how this year went and has been going so far. What are some of the successes that you have experienced? And likewise, I don't want to call them failures, but the lessons, right? What have you really learned about your business, things that you want to implement in the future? Or some of those struggles that you went through, and we're just going to call them lessons because we needed to learn something from it to really catapult our business to the next level. Financials, it's kind of a topic that we steer away from. We don't like to talk about money a lot, but it's something that's super important to talk about in order to understand the health of your business and likewise what that future success looks like. And then, of course, we want to talk about expected growth. So when it comes to the legal needs of your business, how can they really help you with expected legal growth, I'll say, of your business? So doesn't necessarily mean that it will have a big impact in improving the amount of money you're bringing in, but definitely the amount of legal protection that your business has. That's our goal. So what are some items to consider when we're trying to assess the health of our business? I broke this down into the business management side and the business operation side. And when I say manage, I mean like the behind the scenes. So as I was stating before, it's one thing to offer screen printing services. That would be the operation. I'm providing a service or I'm providing a product. But what happens behind closed doors when I'm working with vendors, getting supplies for my business? Am I registered with the state? Those are the types of things that I'm referring to when I say business management. So what are some items to consider? Number one, is your business properly structured? Or do you want to structure your business moving forward so that you are registered as a business with the state that you're operating out of? A DBA is not a form of a registered business entity. That's just alerting the county or the state that you are working in that, hey, I'm using this business name to offer services or products. That's it. So the main types of structures that we see our clients work with are going to be corporations, nonprofit corporations, and LLCs. Have you maintained your annual filings? So depending on the state that you're in, there may be a requirement for you to file annual reports for your business with the Secretary of State or with the state tax office. Here in Texas, it's called the Texas Comptroller's Office. So we don't have to file anything annually with the Secretary of State's office, but we do have to file annually with the Texas Comptroller's Office. And so there are two main things that I warn people about because they can cause your business to go into forfeiture if you don't pay attention to them. Number one is going to be your franchise tax. If you don't pay your franchise tax or report to a Texas Comptroller's Office that, hey, I'm not liable for any franchise tax this year, then that could cause your business to go into forfeiture. And the franchise tax, I want to say it's something crazy like if your business brought in less than $1 million, you just need to let them know. You just have to let them know that. If you don't let them know, they charge you a $50 penalty. If you submit it late, and then if you just never file anything, you don't file any sort of late response, then that can cause your business to forfeit. I'm sorry. And so they'll issue what's called a tax forfeiture letter. And that's what I was trying to say. And so we want to prevent that because if your business forfeits or if you are issued a tax forfeiture letter, meaning that your business has forfeited due to failure to alert them about franchise tax duty for your business, that means you no longer have that LLC or that corporation protection for your owners. And so you want to stay on top of that. The second thing is that the state of Texas requires you to file, it's like a form of a business annual report, but this is to the Texas Comptroller's Office. And it's just letting them know that like, hey, the owners have remained the same or they've changed. And so here's the information for our owners. And this is where the business is located at. Let's see, do you have employees or independent contractors? And if you do, or do you properly have them signing contracts so that you're not running into issues about how much they should be paid, when they should be paid, maybe certain secrets that they should be keeping as confidential pertaining to your business, what it looks like to advertise that they're working for your business in social media, because that's such a big thing, is where businesses are being held liable for what employees or contractors are doing in their personal lives. And so you want to have documents in place that can actively protect your business and what that relationship looks like with the people who are working for you. And have you secured a business, an attorney, an accountant, or an insurance professional? Those are the top three friends that your business wants to have. Number one, an attorney. Number two, an accountant. And number three, an insurance professional. I cannot tell you how important it is to have those. The easiest way that I can describe this is, once again, going back to what it is you're skilled at. If you know your skill is screen printing, don't also try to be a lawyer, an accountant, and a tax professional. Like, focus on what you are skilled at and then hire the professionals to focus on the other things. You know, as an attorney, I have hired an attorney for other legal matters because I know what I focus in, and I know that I may need someone who is skilled or who specializes in a certain area to help me. You know, I get an accountant, even though I may know about certain rules and requirements for my business itself. So hire an attorney, hire an accountant, and make sure that your business has the proper insurance. Business operations side, what are some things to consider? Do you have contracts or terms and conditions in place for customers? Is your brand protected with trademarks? Do you have contracts in place with vendors and or suppliers? And have you opened your business bank account and or applied for business lines of credit? All right. So, in talking about things to consider in business lines of credit and business bank accounts, let's talk financials. Okay. So, you're either going to spend the money on your business or you're going to pay it to the IRS, is the way that I was explained this. And so, when we're assessing our business, one of the things that we really want to take a step back and do is updated bookkeeping, right? Are your books up to date? And what that looks like is the amount of money that your business has brought in, the amount of money that your business has put out on business expenses or on other items, such as expenses cover so many things, employees, supplies, just so many things. But your accountant can absolutely educate you on all the expenses pertain to But they cover just a broad array of things. And so you want to do your bookkeeping to figure out where you are. And right before the end of the year, it should be right at the end of third quarter or where we are now in the beginning of fourth quarter, to really figure out what are your tax implications looking like? Do you need more business expenses? Or do you kind of need to just stay where you're at because you've met a good level for the amount that you've spent, and the amount that you're going to report to the IRS? Now, if it appears that you have brought in and paid yourself significantly more than you have spent on your business, now's a good time to spend some money. This can decrease the amount that you owe the IRS in taxes. So, of course, one thing that I'm going to let you know, attorney expenses are tax deductible. So expenses that you spend on an attorney to just consult with, to prepare contracts for your business, to get your trademark filed, to get your copyright filed, getting real estate for your business, things like that. Those are all expenses that can decrease the liability of taxes that you have to the IRS. So when we are assessing our business, something super important to consider are what are the legal issues that your business experienced this year? And I kind of wanted to take it a little elementary style in how I address this, just to really help you and everyone who's viewing break down how to assess the legal issues that you experience and what it is that you need to do to resolve them. So some of the legal issues that you may experience that you may not have connected them with being a legal issue, or maybe a customer submitted a chargeback, right? And so the bank is saying, hey, we need some information from you. This person charged back a charge that they made to your company. So then that looks like, well, what documentation and proof do you have to provide to the bank in order to make sure that the chargeback is not successful and that they rule in your favor and not the customer's favor? And the second thing is maybe there was a dispute between a verbal agreement that you had with a vendor or a supplier. That's a common issue that we have clients come to us about. And so those may be some legal issues that you've experienced throughout this year. So oftentimes the issues that we experience in our businesses are going to be the groundwork for discovering what legal protections that we can actually benefit from. And so this is why I said we're going to take it elementary style. I provided this chart so that we can talk about, and we learned it back in elementary school, the who, what, when, where, why method, right? And so I've created this chart and it says who, what, why, where, and how. So who did you have this issue with? Was it an employee? Was it a customer or a client? Was it a vendor or supplier? Who did you have this issue with? What was the nature of the issue? Was it financial? Was it them being unhappy with a product that you prepared, unhappy with services that you delivered? What exactly was the nature of the issue? Why did this issue arise? Did they receive something late? Did they say that the services or products they received weren't up to par or what they considered to be acceptable? Why did this issue arise? Where did it happen? Was it online specifically? Maybe only online sales, online services? Was it with a specific office? If you offer services like a trademark office or something like that. And how can we go about resolving this so that you don't have to experience this next year or again this year? And so I thought that was just a cool way to break things down so that we can, one, address an issue, but also talk about a resolution. Everyone probably knows it's so easy to talk about an issue or for someone else to complain about an issue, but it's just as equally important to talk about the resolution and how we can prevent this from happening again, in order to strengthen, the health of our business and make sure that it's something that can be ongoing and doesn't end because, we're experiencing these legal issues that are now stacking up and were never properly addressed. So what are your legal goals for next year? I think this is the perfect segue from what we just talked about, because we talked about what some of the issues are. And as I stated at the beginning of that last slide, the issues that we experience can really lay the groundwork for the legal protection and services that we actually need. So when we think about our legal goals for next year, what does that look like? So number one, let's plan. Now that we know what our legal issues are, we've gone through the who, what, where, and why method of each of those issues to figure out the cause of the issues, the root of the issue, what types of characteristics or traits affected that issue and how it came to pass. Now let's plan so that we can make sure that we aren't experiencing those same issues. And so planning could simply be setting up a call with an accountant to make sure that you don't experience tax issues, or setting up a call with a business attorney to make sure that the contract issue or the issue you experience with a vendor over a dispute doesn't arise again. And so the planning could just be setting up that phone conversation with the licensed professional to figure out, hey, these are the issues that I experience. How can I go about protecting my business so that I'm not experiencing them again? Implementing. Have you ever been to the doctor and the doctor suggested that you did something to improve your health or improve your overall physical being, and you didn't do it? That would be failure to implement advice. I was going to say legal advice, but failure to implement advice. And the same applies when you speak with an attorney. The attorney tells you how to properly protect your business, and you don't do anything. You're failing to implement legal advice. And so implementing the advice that you're getting is even more important than just taking the step of getting the advice. So when we talk about reaching these goals for next year, okay, we may have planned and set the goal, but let's implement action so that we can ensure that we are meeting the goal. So that may look like submitting the trademark application, becoming a registered business entity with your state, getting the contract prepared for your supplier and vendor, or maybe for your employee and independent contractor. Those are the types of things that we want to implement. It could also look like preparing a contract to use with your clients or customers when they hire you for services or products, or getting terms and conditions and privacy policies updated to your website if you sell low amount products or services and just kind of want extra implementation of protection on your website. And number 3, supervising. What do I mean by supervising? It's one thing to implement them, but then you have to follow up. That's that maintenance that we talked about when we talk about business filing and tax filing, maintenance of your legal goals. Sometimes that looks like going back and revisiting the contract that you may have put in place to protect your business against any issues you've experienced the last year. Well, come March, you may experience a brand new issue that your business hadn't experienced before, and you may need to get that contract amended a little bit to add in another layer of protection so that you can experience that issue again. It could also mean enforcing the trademark registration that you have. So once you have a registered trademark, life doesn't end once the trademark office says, here's your certificate of registration. No, you actually need to do searches to see are other businesses actually using your brand items, such as logo, slogan, or name. And then that could also mean enforcing contract terms. So it's as much as it's important to maintain contract with up-to-date terms and up-to-date policies, you also need to enforce the terms in the contract. So if the independent contractor that you hired isn't, completing all the duties that they signed the contract saying they would complete, you need to enforce that. So just a recap of what we discussed today. We talked about the fact that it's important to assess the current health or state of your business. And we talked about ways to assess that. One is going to be with the business management side of your business and the business operations side of your business. Where can you improve? And where can you take the lessons that you learned to actually help your business moving forward? Number 3, we talked about financials. Sit down and do some bookkeeping for your business and figure out, have you spent a decent amount of money, and talk with your accountant about it. Have you spent a decent amount of money, or do you need to take out more expenses for your business this year in order to really thrive the way you want to when it comes to filing your taxes, so that you're not paying so much money to the IRS? You still need to pay some money, but you can work with your accountant to figure out what expenses you can take to decrease the amount of money that you're owing. And then number 4 was, what were some of the legal issues that you experienced? And we used the who, what, where, why method to really help us dive into those issues and how we can create resolutions for them next year. And then setting our legal goals and our legal strategies for having a successful next year in our business. And I think that oftentimes we're so focused on, the monetary success of our business that we don't focus on the legal success, and that's just as important. And I'll give a quick example, and then I'll go ahead and and get off. I recently came into contact with a local business who was getting ready to be on Shark Tank. And the business has been around, I want to say almost 10 years. Well, in order to get prepared for Shark Tank, the business owner was forced to kind of have to think about what legal protections they had in place because they were getting to publicize their business to an entire nation, right? It wasn't just going to be a local small business anymore. They were ready to publicize it to the entire nation. So, did they have a trademark in place? Were there proper contracts with their vendors and suppliers to make sure that no one tried to charge them more, maybe for supplies, now that they're going on this show and broadcasting their business nationally and could be bringing in more production needs? And so when I was approached with the client's information and what it is they needed, I was a little shocked, I would say, that they had continued business for this long and had never taken the time to think about the legal needs that they really should have for their business. And I had to remind myself that, you know what, this is exactly why you're in the place that you're in, is to educate people, because you can just be so focused on delivering a good product or a good service that you don't know what you don't know, right? And you don't know that you need to seek legal advice or advice from an accountant, because it just seems that on the surface your business is doing well, you're bringing in money, you have clients or customers, and so you're doing well. But there's so many other things to think about, and that's why it's so important to have the three best friends: your attorney, your accountant, and your insurance professional, so that you can make sure that your business is thriving on all levels. For all the attendees, we're going to send out a business checkup checklist, so that it can help you with assessing the needs for your business and setting those legal goals and legal strategies for your business's success next year. If you're viewing this after the live webinar, you can go ahead and send an email to ecurry@thecofirm.com and request this, and we'd be happy to send it over to you. Um, if you want to set up some time to talk with us, you said, hey, this was great information, but phew, it went over my head and I need a deeper conversation. Or maybe you're like, hey, I really received the information you said and I need a strong business attorney on my team. That's what we're here for. Give us a call, shoot us an email, visit the website and fill out the contact form. Send us a message to social media, reach out any way that you feel comfortable so that we can get you the legal protection and the legal representation that can really help catapult your business to the next level. Thank you all so much for joining. Once again, we're with the Curry Law Firm, and we would love to be your business attorney.